Welcome to episode number 245 with Wren and Vanessa from Blush Out West Boutique. Let's talk about your business, strategy, and the juicy details of what actually works, from mainstream fashion to fashion on Main Street and the entire ecosystem behind it. How do we scale your company and do it with the balance and the happiness that we all seek? Let's hear from those insiders, experts, and strategists that actually make it happen. I'm your host, Ashley Alderson from the Boutique Hub, and I can't wait to chat. Calling all mother-daughter boutique duos. I am so excited, you guys, this week to introduce you to my friends Wren and Vanessa, a mother-daughter duo, the owners of Blush Out West Boutique. Now, if you've heard us talk about inside of the Boutique Hub, do what you do best and hire the rest, or that retail is a right brain and a left brain type of business. You need someone to be creative and do social media, but you also have to have someone who hones in on the numbers and understands inventory management. And maybe that's you and it is both sides of your brain, or maybe it's you and a partner or a family member. This week, Wren and Vanessa and I sit down and talk about their business and how it's evolved over time, how a former business led to a current business, and how together they were awarded the Colorado Overall Boutique of the Year. You guys, these two are no slouches. I see their content all over social media. I see their Facebook ads retarget me all the time. And they've done a wonderful job building a great brand working together. They're both currently boutique retail boot camp students. They were at our Western Summit event. So the more that I've been able to work with these ladies, honestly, they are two of the kindest, most genuine women that I've had an opportunity to meet. So I know you're going to love to meet them today too and hear all of their insider secrets on both the right and left brain of running a successful boutique. You guys, please help me welcome Wren and Vanessa from Blush Out West. All right, you guys get a 2-for-1 today. Aren't you excited? Not only do we have partners on the show today, but we have a mother-daughter duo, which I'm so excited to talk about. So please help me welcome this week, Vanessa and Wren LeVan, the owners of Blush Out West. You guys, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. We were chatting before we got started on the podcast, and I'm sure you guys that are listening can relate to this. When you're friends with somebody online on social media, or there's a business you follow on social media, but you've never actually had to say the words out loud, and then you meet the person and you're like, gosh, do I even know how to pronounce your name? I've read it a million times, but can I actually say the words? So, Wren, you've got to tell us how people mispronounce your name.
Yeah, so it's actually Wren LeVan, which some people would get, but a lot of people, believe it or not, I get Warren, Ron. Gosh, what are some of the others I get?
Sometimes they think you're a boy.
Wern, like Wern. Yes. Yeah, I was actually at Starbucks and they asked for my name and they wrote Warren on my cup.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, Wren is a bird. Doesn't everybody know that that is a bird?
I guess not, but
You would think so. You're the second Wren that I know. I'm surprised that more people don't catch on to that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
now it's easier when they just ask my name. I'm like Wren, W-R-E-N.
Yeah. And
Do
we
you
have
ever go
seen
to
it popping up a few times here and there, which is interesting.
becoming more popular? Perfect. Do you
Yeah,
ever go to Starbucks and give them the wrong name on purpose?
Sometimes I give them Vanessa,
Just to be easy.
but even that they can not spell half the time.
Sometimes. But it's a little easier than yours, I guess.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I'm so pumped to have you on the show today. I know you have such a great story to share, but also so much business insight to share too that we're going to get into. So as we always start the show, I love to hear context. Vanessa, start us out. Tell us about how the business first got started.
Well, so I started actually back in 2006 with a very good girlfriend that I'm still great friends with. Her name is Dana. And we were both stay-at-home moms, and our girls, well, and my son were in Catholic school together. And her little guy was not in school yet. And so we both had kind of wanted to have a boutique and had kind of explored it on our own. And then when we became friends, we had talked about it. And then just one day we said, let's do this. And we had zero clue what we were doing. And we got online, booked a ticket to LA, and hopped on the plane like a week later. We each took $1,500 and we just went. And it all worked out. We came home, we had a home trunk show with basically the moms from the school, and we literally sold out. And so we were profitable from day one. And we just never looked back. We just had so much fun. And that was kind of our motto, that if it wasn't fun, we didn't want to do it, because we had these young kids, that was our priority, but we wanted a little something for ourselves to, get some creativity going and have fun. And so that's what we did.
Oh my gosh.
And then it was super fun.
I'm going to stop you there because how many people just like go to LA? That's the first thing they do, right? Most people inside the boutique are like, how do I go to LA? I'm so intimidated about it. But you guys just went for it.
I know. We see that all the time in there too. And I'm always surprised because, we literally had zero idea. She did have a cousin that worked in the fashion industry down there, but she really didn't know where to go either. She kind of had some ideas. And then she also has one of her best friends she dressed people for movie sets. And so she kind of had a couple ideas of maybe where we'd go. And so they actually both came with us, and we just hopped in the car and just started driving around. And actually where we went first isn't necessarily where we go now, and it took Dana and I a couple trips to kind of figure out where to go. And once we did, we never looked back. And we were going probably about once every month or two. And it just, we loved every second of it. And we would end up, back then we would stay overnight. Now Wren and I just go for the day, but we also lived in California at the time. And so we'd go for the 2 nights and we'd stay at her cousin's, and we'd have these fun fashion shows at night with everything we'd gotten. So it was just a blast. And it was a great way to get away from our little kids too.
Perfect. Thanks. Wren's like, I hear you, Mom. So what happened after that? You and Dana had worked together, and then how did the business evolve from that point?
Right. So then after a couple years, 2008 hit, and our family was hit really, really hard in 2008. And so we decided we were going to move to Colorado. We had a rental property here that we were going to try to hang on to because we were losing everything. And so we just up and left. And Dana stayed in Napa, and she continued to do blush in Napa. And then I moved here to Colorado and started trying to build it from here. And we knew nobody, we had no jobs, nothing. And so obviously we just jump into things, and it always works out for some reason, thankfully. And so within a few months, I had met a couple ladies that were opening a storefront, and they were like, hey, we're opening in 10 days. Do you want to open with us? So of course I said, why not? Let's do it. And so I jumped in and I helped open this storefront. And then within a year, we had opened a shoe store next door. And then we opened a third store in a different town. And then actually a couple of those ladies, well, there were 3 of us, and those 2 ladies weren't getting along very well, sometimes in the boutique world, not necessarily in the boutique hub, which is awesome, but in the boutique world, it can get kind of catty. And so there were some issues with those 2. And so we ended up having to split the business. And I stayed in one store with one lady, and I loved both of them. They were both really great ladies. And I just kind of had to pick where I thought business would be best for me. And so I went with one store, and then I did that for about a year. And then I was kind of like, you know what? I think I'm done with the storefronts. My kids were in middle school by then. I needed to be home. My husband was actually working out of town. He was working in North Dakota. And so I was like, it's time for me to be home. And so I just went back to home trunk shows. And then Dana and I would still meet in LA and do all our buying together. And then I'd come back here, do my shows. She'd do her shows in Napa. And then she actually ended up moving to Texas. And then she kind of stopped doing blush and now is in the wine industry, moved out of Napa and then got into the wine industry, which is kind of
seems fitting.
Yeah. And so she's doing that. And then we figured out, it was probably about 3 years ago, Wren said, hey, I want to sell clothes. And I'm like, okay, this will be fun. Cause she had never really shown much interest in it other than, just wanting to pick things off the rack and wear them.
Yeah. We actually went to LA, Clara and I, so Dana's daughter, and I actually hated it.
Really?
Yeah, they went shopping with us one time.
Like when we were pretty young. Yeah, it was not my thing. I did not like it. In every showroom, I would find the chair and sit in the chair while they would shop. I was so uninterested. But when I left for college in
2015, we figured out.
In 2015, and I was actually selling old blush clothes that my mom still had piled up like in the back of her closet.
Just old inventory.
Yeah. So I was actually selling that on Facebook pages, and I would meet people locally at Starbucks in Greeley where I was going to school. So that kind of got me started and interested in the clothing. After that, I was like, okay, this is fun. I'm making extra money.
Well, wait, side note here. She actually was interested in selling when she was making money. So let's go back to when we lived in Napa. She and Dana's daughter, Clara, actually had a clothing business. So they started their own about a year into our clothing business. And it was called what?
Envy Girl. So it stood for Napa Valley Girl.
And you guys were probably what, in third grade?
If that.
Second or third grade.
And we even sold out every time.
They did. So all the moms would come shopping and the daughters would go upstairs, their classmates, and they had their show upstairs and they would do all their pricing. They had their price lists and it was hilarious.
That is so funny thinking back about it.
That is so cute.
So I guess it's not too far of a stretch that now here she is with Blush Out West.
Right. Yes.
Oh my gosh. What valuable skills you learned like without even thinking about it, right? It just came natural to you at that point?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very money driven. So when I saw that I could make money selling clothes, I figured, why not do this? This is so fun. I love shopping in general, so I could shop at my own house. So it just seemed very fitting. And then we booked a trip to LA.
Mm-hmm.
We went to LA. Gosh, only like 2 suitcases, if that. Did not spend very much, but at the time we thought, oh, this is a lot. Hopefully we can sell it.
Yeah, because I really wasn't doing too many home trunk shows at that point. I was just kind of trying to figure out where the business was going.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was perfect timing because then she was like, well, I want to do it. And I'm like, okay. So like she said, we only got a little bit of stuff.
Yeah, and it's actually funny because a picture popped up on my timeline the other day of the first trunk show we did when we started Blush together. And there's like maybe 10 items on the rack. And we thought we were hitting it hard that time. So yeah, it's fun to look back and see how much growth and success we've had over the last couple years.
Yeah, a couple years.
Oh my gosh. So tell everyone, kind of where you both are at now, where you both landed, and what's the dynamic of the business today? Where do you guys all sell and what does the business operation look like?
Yeah. So right now we are on Shopify. So when did we figure out we started?
2 years ago in fall of 2017. So we kind of started selling stuff in fall of 2016 together. And then a year later in 2017, started the online store. So I had like this little tiny online store that was like with some other website. And I sold one thing here or there and, just did the trunk shows. But then she was like, well, that's what I think is so fabulous about their age group is, everything is online and it's just second nature to them and they know how to do it. Just, it's like it's ingrained in them. And so she's like, well, we're taking this all online. And so that's why we got into the Shopify site and stuff and then just started growing the website. And then she's great at taking the pictures and she's great at editing. And so right now, that's pretty much all we do is online. Like she'll do a show, like she just got back from a show she did a cattle show. So she's pretty passionate about the cattle world. And so she'll go do shows there. But I knew when she joined me, I said, I can tell you one thing, I am done hauling stuff around. I was very clear on that. Like I have done this for too many years. I'm tired of hauling stuff. And so she's kind of willing to do that now once in a while. But I would say our roles are, she is the creative one that is doing all the pictures and the editing, like I said, and the sales. She's really our sales force, whereas I'm kind of more of the back end. And I do a lot of the packaging. She does too, but she's gone quite a bit. Her boyfriend lives in Oregon. So I do a lot of the packaging and the back end, like all the number stuff and the sales tax and, all that fun stuff.
I let her deal with all that. And I do the fun stuff. I love taking the pictures. I love just being creative and always finding new ways to take pictures. I do the try-on sessions on Instagram stories. So every week when we do our product drop, I always make sure to show everything on in a video. So once the product drop hits at 6:00 at night, everyone's already seen what it looks like on, so they can just add to their cart and get shopping. So I like doing that.
And she's really good at social media. So I'm kind of allowed to touch Facebook, not too much. I'm not allowed to touch the Instagram, although I can do a story once in a while.
I let her do stories. I'm not as mean as I sound. But yes, I am a little picky about our Instagram.
Which I think is what makes it's good. She's done a really, really great job. at it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You guys, you bring up I have so many questions running through my head right now I love the dynamics of mother-daughter working together. I'm picturing trying to work with my own mom. My mom thinks that I own a boutique, which is strange because I don't think she really understands what the boutique hub is because anything online is so foreign. So tell me about both the perks of two generations, Gen X and Gen Z, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Perfect. So tell me about first the power of those two generations and two different knowledge bases working together. And then I want to hear about what's a challenge that you've had to overcome with that.
Okay. So for me, I think these two age groups, which she's Gen Z, I'm Gen X. And I think it is just a very powerful combination. And I'm in a couple women's like networking groups, and they're always like, how have you guys done this? You know, we need to talk to you guys how you're doing this, how Wren's killing Instagram and all this. And I said, you need to get yourself a Generation Zer. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like you built the foundation of this business.
Yes.
And built it up for 10 years before I came and kind of took it over. But I was able to implement whatever you had started and created new ways of revenue and all sorts of new things to bring into this business.
Right. And I think that's something that I think a lot of people probably don't see from the, they're looking in from the front, and we've got this whole back end that people don't know about that. Like she said, I had the foundation already. So she did not have to come in and learn how to buy. And that takes years to develop. And, and Dana and I did that, and we had those years behind us. And so she was able to come in and really focus on more of the marketing piece of it, which, is now pretty much all online. And that's what she's so good at. And so she really was able, like she said, to take it and run with it. And I think that's what is valuable about these two generations working together is being the older ones. We have all these foundations that we've built, the traditional business foundations that are still so necessary in a business, the numbers and even old school marketing, like email, that stuff still works.
And so you do all of that.
And I do all that. Yep. And so we've already had that foundation that we've been working with for years. But then there's this whole new world out there that we don't have. I mean, there are people obviously my age that, I sound like I'm 90. I'm not. I'm 47. And I think I'm actually pretty tech savvy. A lot of the tech stuff, actually, I do have to figure out. She's not real good at tech, but she's real good at the internet stuff or the marketing stuff. And so it's just such a good blend when you can find somebody, that like Wren, that's super motivated, because I've been blessed. Both my kids are super motivated. And if you can find a Generation Z person that is super motivated and wants to make some money, they have got the skills, and they have seen so many people in their age group become overnight sensations. And I really think that they think, well, why not me too? Which is awesome. Like if everybody could think that, why not me? And so the ones that have the drive, just go for it and do it. And it's super fascinating. Like we know quite a few people in her age group that have it's not an overnight sensation, but that's just what it looks like on the outside. But she's got some people she's been around that really have made it really big. Yeah. And so it's fun. It's just so fun to watch that age group to me. And I think a lot of them get a bad rap, and they're doing amazing
I think you're absolutely right. I think there's a huge misconception of Gen Z and millennials being entitled, or I feel like that's the word that's probably thrown around the most.
And they always think, oh, all they do is sit on their phone.
Which is true, but they're doing something on their phone.
I think that's a misconception. I think about that even with my own kids, right? Because they'll look at me and they'll go, Mom, you're on your phone. But I'm not playing Minecraft, right? Like my son just wants to sit there and play Minecraft. I'm working. And I think maybe my mom's generation, which, Vanessa, that's past your generation by a long ways, has no idea. Like she wasn't even exposed to that. So I think it's so cool because you're both in the cusp of the digital age and you know how to leverage one another because of it.
Yes. And I think there's a lot of businesses that could be doing that right now. Not obviously just in the boutique world, but in a lot of different worlds. And there obviously plenty of them are doing it, but I really think that that's the key to growth.
Oh, I totally agree. What would you say has been your biggest challenge that you've had to overcome with that? Or even being a mother-daughter working together in general?
I think for me, there is still that dynamic where, once in a while we get crabby with each other. And she does still live at home because she's in college. She's got semester and a half left. And so she gets kind of crabby because she's got homework and stuff. And so, there is a lot expected of her within the business too, because she's the one, like she said, that does all the pictures and stuff and the product drops and all that. And I can't, I would like to be doing more in that realm, but that's not really what sells. So I really can't. But I can't get on her for not doing more because, she's working as hard as she can. She's, got school, she's got this business she's built. And then actually in the summer, she had a job because she likes to have fun. And she goes to Oregon with her boyfriend all summer. And so she worked at a golf course and, and just has a good time with other kids her age and stuff, which is super fun. And I want her to have all those experiences. And so I would never say, hey, don't do that so you can focus more on blush. But I think it will come to the point where, she will have to make some of those decisions. What do you think?
Yeah. I honestly try not to think about it right now. But yeah, eventually next year, once I graduate, I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do and where I'm going to go and how we are going to keep this business afloat.
But I don't want to lose the momentum it has going, but I also don't want her to miss out on other stuff, that she should be doing at her age. Because she'll probably move to Oregon where her boyfriend is. And so that'll put a different twist on the business. But like she said, she doesn't like to think about it. And I just think it all is going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. Mm-hmm. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, I'd say the biggest struggle is just, I don't want to push her too hard and I don't want her to feel pressured about some of those things.
Thanks, girl.
You're welcome.
I feel like I just witnessed a family counseling session and I totally love it.
Totally. Thanks for being the therapist.
So good. Do you guys have help in your business right now, or is it just the two of you? Do you have someone else that helps manage some of the day-to-day?
No, it's just us.
It's us.
And then we do have our Facebook gal, shout out to Molly, and she's awesome. But that's all she does is our Facebook marketing.
Yep.
The actual ads.
The packaging,
but
the
everything
shipping,
is us.
It is all us.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Gotcha.
is a little crazy at times, but we make it work.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of ladies are trying to do this all on their own. At least there's two of us.
Right.
I think you bring up a good point of, I always say this like in retail bootcamp or in training, that being successful in retail is you have to have both right brain and left brain, right? You have to have the creative marketer, fashion type person that is good with social media and relating to the customer and styling outfits, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's, frankly, that's where a lot of, I think, new boutique owners come from. They're attracted to that. But I think why some boutiques fail is they miss out on the fact that that can't be your only leg to stand on. You also have to have, again, left brain, which is financials and being more analytical and being a great buyer, a smart buyer, and using data to your advantage. And I think that's, just looking at you from the outside, I think that's the cool thing that the two of you bring to the table is you are right brain and left brain paired together. Would you agree?
I would totally agree.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's exactly why we work so well together, because I always say that if I had to pay taxes and do all the financials, I'd be in jail because I wouldn't pay the taxes. So, no, I think that's why we're so good together. And I'm grateful that my mom likes to do. Well, I don't know if she likes to do it, but she does do it.
And what's funny is I'm actually probably the more creative one out of the two of us.
Yeah.
And like the more crafty one, that kind of stuff. But I think, I've been doing the boutique thing for so long that I got my fill of that part of it. And so now I'm totally okay with, sitting back and doing more of the left brain part of it and letting her run the front end, the more creative part. And there is a lot I could be doing in the left brain side, the financial thing. I could be doing a lot better. And QuickBooks is, not something I.
Well, it takes creativity to work with the IRS too, right? That seems fitting.
Yes.
I'd love to hear from the two of you kind of on that note of being right brain and left brain. And it sounds like you both are probably a good mix of both, but in your respective roles in the company, I'd love to hear your top 3 tips. Like, what are the top 3 things if someone was listening and you're like, girl, you need to know this, this, and this? I'd love to know each of your perspectives.
Okay, so I would think one of my top ones is be yourself and be authentic and do what you want, buy what you like, because if you guys don't like it personally, it's not going to sell. And we've learned that.
Mm-hmm.
And just being yourself is going to get you so much further than trying to be someone you're not, trying to be a different boutique owner, someone you look up to, which is fine. I am all for inspiration, and I think that's great. I get inspiration daily from the people I follow. But just being yourself and going your own way would be probably my top piece of advice if somebody's listening.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. I think mine would be, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And with that, I mean, like the videos, the live videos. I mean, there's so many people. In fact, we have a girl we love who's local, and she is launching a makeup business, and she will not get on live video.
Oh, man.
And so
I mean, not even just her. So many
people
that I follow that have actually come to us for business advice. I think a lot of it does have to do with not just Facebook live videos, but also the Instagram try-ons. Like when I first started, I wouldn't say I was afraid to get in front of the camera, but I didn't like being in front of the camera. And when I realized and watch sales generate and sales come in from these videos, then I'm like, oh, okay, I could do this a little more often, you know?
Yeah, so I think you have got to get yourself out there.
You do.
You cannot be afraid. And I mean, really, the whole thing of, I'm worried about what people will think. No one is thinking anything. No one cares. They're all about themselves.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be one of my biggest pieces of advice. And then also I would have to say, you've got to get the buying down. And do not overbuy. I think actually, when I was part of the stores, one of the ladies, actually two of them, but one in particular, she would just buy like crazy. And she had just sold her house and was putting a lot of money into inventory from that. And I was like, you've got to stop. Like, don't do that to yourself. And so we operate pretty much on a cash basis. We've never, ever been in debt for this business. And I'm never willing to go in debt for it. I'd rather grow more slowly than go in debt. And so I just hate to see people that are overbuying and risking that. And I just would much rather buy, we'll buy a pack or two. And then if it sells out immediately, we'll reorder. But I just think that a lot of boutiques get into trouble there.
Man, I think you're so spot on. You bring up a good point. And social media is really the culprit here. Everyone wants to keep up with the Joneses, and they feel like they have to have this huge, deep inventory and appear to be so much bigger online than maybe they are in person. But you've proven that you guys can start small, right? Your $3,000 overall investment and grow it incrementally. And it's okay to evolve over time. It's okay to change and do something different. And you didn't start doing videos from the start, but you learned it and you took a leap and now it's worked. And same with try-on sessions, but you have to be willing to change and reinvest, right?
For sure.
And, there's different seasons in a business. I mean, there's been times when, I was, like you just said, we started out with $3,000 and then it grew and we were buying a lot more. And then, and then I kind of scaled back. And you can't be afraid to think that it's always got to be the same. And like I said, when Wren moves to Oregon, I mean, that's going to be a new phase for us and we'll have to see what that looks like. And like I said, everything just happens for a reason, and you have to be flexible and willing to change with it.
I hear the question often, and I know, Vanessa, this wasn't necessarily your case, but I get the question from new moms all the time that are boutique owners, like, hey, I just had a baby. My baby's a couple months old. Obviously, I'm slammed and I'm not sleeping at night. Should I just sell my business? What should I do? And I think you're speaking to that woman right now because you're saying that's a season.
That is a season. And I mean, it may seem like it's lasting forever when you're in it, but you will look back and say, oh my gosh, that went so fast. I mean, my kids are 20 and 22 now, and it's just crazy. And so, I mean, I'm so thankful that, everything grew more slowly back then at different times because, I was with my kids. I was able to always be a stay-at-home mom, and I'm thankful for that. And there's lots of women that, don't want to do that, and that's great too. And so you just really need to know yourself. And what you want and what you expect.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to act on that. And I mean, if you're a new mom and you're overwhelmed and you're trying to nurse your baby and run a boutique, and don't be afraid to say, you know what, I can't do this right now.
Yeah. It goes back to, what is your goal? What's the desired outcome you have for the business and for your life? Not my business has reached so many followers on Instagram, and now I have to keep up with all these other boutiques at my same level.
Right. Yes. Because you're not
Perfect.
So with anybody. Just need to keep
exactly.
yourself.
Exactly. You guys have had the huge honor of getting some awards, right?
Yes.
Colorado's Online Boutique of the Year and Colorado Overall Boutique of the Year, which is awesome.
Yes.
Tell me about that process of going through the boutique awards, how that's impacted your business and what your customers have to say about it. Because to me, the boutique awards is more about having that conversation with your customer about what does my business mean to you? Did they have something positive to share with you? Like, was that an uplifting experience for you?
Yeah, I think overall the boutique awards was amazing for us. It helped us grow. We noticed a lot of engagement on our Facebook page. Overall, I think it just went really well. And actually, I remember not this past summer, but summer of last year, so 2018, when the boutique awards were running last summer. We actually were not part of the Boutique Hub yet. And that seeing other people or other boutiques post that is kind of what got me interested in joining the Boutique Hub.
Because she came to me, she's like, we need to join this, Mom.
Yeah. And I was like, there's this contest, and I was telling her all about it, and I didn't know much about it. And actually she was like, well, how much is it? And I was like, I think it's like $24 a month. And she's like, sign us up. And so we signed up, and yeah, we've gained so much from it. But the giveaway overall went super great. Our customers were very thankful. We actually were able to give away an amazing squash blossom necklace. It was all sterling silver and authentic turquoise, which was awesome for us to give away because it was a huge prize, and we felt as if we were giving something away that some girl may not ever get the chance to own. Mm-hmm. So that was really special to us.
And then what did you find last night? Her pictures.
Oh yeah, she was wearing it in her family photos last night.
So so sweet.
Yeah, super fun, and we're glad we got to do that. And then, like I said, we heard amazing things from our customers, just great positive feedback.
And they were just rooting for us. Like, it was so fun because they were as excited about it as we were.
Yeah, it was funny because we would actually wake up like daily to messages saying, have you guys heard yet? Have you guys heard yet? So they were just as excited for us as we were. So
yeah. And in fact, before we even announced it, like, you guys had sent the email out, and Wren was actually gone. And so we were kind of bummed because we wanted to be able to announce it together if we had won, but she was gone. And so we had one of our followers message us, and she was like, you guys, you won. And we're like, oh my gosh. Okay. So Wren had to get on live right away. Oh, you were at a bridal
wedding,
shower.
Yeah.
Or a wedding. Yes. And the bride, they were all getting ready. And so I was like, you've got to get on and announce it because our people already know.
So yeah,
oh my gosh,
checking back to see if the results were up yet. So they were totally just as excited.
Yeah. So it was overall a really great experience. And I mean, it was just so fun.
Well, and like I said, I mean, we noticed so much engagement from it.
Yes, a ton of engagement.
I mean, not only were they checking in on us, seeing if we knew yet, but they were just following all the posts, engaging with each other.
Yeah.
Asking us questions. So yeah, it was a great outcome and really
That's
fun.
so cool. You guys, that gives me goosebumps to hear that. I think that's my favorite part of this process is to hear how much customers root for boutique owners. And you guys know what it's like to be a boutique owner and a business owner in general. There's so many ups and downs, and there's days where you're like, why am I doing this? And sometimes all you need is just your customer to come back and reassure you of the impact you're leaving on their life or the relationship that you've built. So to have them lift you up and celebrate you in that way, I think that's the coolest outcome out of this whole contest.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then to see your guys' like announcement videos. I love the ones where like people go live and they're crying and they're so excited. Like that is so cool to see.
When we went with the winner, when we chose the winner for the squash blossom, we had people that were like, I need you to do this quick. My flight is delayed, and I'm so glad my flight is delayed because I can watch this. One girl was like, I am pulled over on the side of the freeway to see if I'm the winner.
Yeah, so it was super fun. Well, and then from the whole boutique awards, we actually just a few weeks ago got together with a bunch of Boutique Hub well, not a bunch, but like a group of 5 or 6 other ladies that are in the Boutique Hub. And we would have never even had known them
Or found them.
Had they not been part of the hub. And so I just kind of started messaging them and I'm like, hey, do you guys want to get together and we'll just, have a fun little cocktail hour and brainstorm. And there were a few that, couldn't make it, but then several did. And it was great. It was a fun night.
Yeah. And we kind of just got to know each other. And a few of them were actually in our town that we had no idea about. So that was cool, getting to know each boutique and what they do and their way of business.
Yeah. Yeah. And
that's community over competition for sure. That's awesome.
And it was so surprising, like hearing all the different ways people sell, because a couple of the girls don't even have online stores.
No, just Facebook groups and pages.
So that was super fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
my goodness,
the hub too.
That's awesome, you guys. Where do you see, like, as you look at the boutique industry as a whole and how much it's changed since the business first started, right? Where do you think the industry is going to go in the next 2 years? What's your prediction?
I think it's bigger.
For sure.
Because I sell on Amazon as well. I don't sell clothing. I sell gift boxes. And Amazon is just such an impersonal, it's just a turnover. And it's not even fun to sell on there. And there's nothing unique on there. And it's just not fun. And so I think the boutiques have such a leg up on that kind of shopping, or even the big box stores that are so boring. And so I think people are getting sick of that kind of buying. And not that they're not going to do it. I mean, Amazon clearly kills it. And they're just a little bigger than us, but but there's such a place for boutiques that none of those other places can offer. So I really see it just getting bigger and bigger. And the customer service everywhere is so horrible also. And I think that's something that we can really excel on in the boutique world as well.
Well, and I also think since the boutique hub, I mean, it's this whole huge resource that is available for every boutique owner. And there's just a wealth of knowledge within it. And Ashley, the stuff you put in there and the podcasts you do. And there's just so much people can learn from in the boutique hub alone.
Yeah, that's so
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. That means a lot. Well, do you guys want to play a quick lightning round?
Sure. Maybe. No.
All right. I'll ask you a couple of quick questions. You give me your fastest answers back. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Favorite trend at the moment?
Navajo print.
Sweaters. Anything warm.
Rust.
Rust is her favorite.
Least favorite trend or trend you wish would die?
Crop tops.
Yeah. And neon. I hate that.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the neon either. But crop tops are worse. Like, I just don't know who can even wear them.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love mom jeans for that reason.
Yeah.
Must have app on your phone.
Facebook and Instagram.
Podcasts.
And Pinterest.
Practical. I like it.
I don't even have Pinterest on my phone.
You don't?
No.
Oh my gosh.
And I do go on there on my computer, but I don't have it on my phone.
I'm on there daily.
Best daily habit?
I would say exercise. I'm kind of good about that.
Chai tea?
Does that count?
That might be my worst daily habit.
Glasses half empty, glasses half full. Best book you've ever read?
Oh, my favorite book is called The Glass Castle.
I was going to say that.
Okay, we both have the same favorite book. And I love business books and I love self-help books. And The Glass Castle is neither.
What is
but it is my favorite book. It's a true life story, and it's a girl that grew up with basically an alcoholic dad and a mom that was just a little crazy. And it's her life story. But she puts a really twist on it that, I mean, you don't feel sorry for her. It's just all about her experiences.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Interesting.
And so I like that.
Perfect.
Probably because I kind of have a similar background.
Well, there's a lot to learn, right? From real life experiences just like that.
For sure. For sure.
How about your favorite podcasts?
My favorite podcast would have to be probably, I listen to so many. I get a lot of very practical, usable information from Jenna Kutcher for the Gold Digger one. So I like that one a lot. The Boutique Hub, I learn a ton from.
The Boutique Hub's mine.
You guys, I'm slipping you your money after this. Thank you.
Really. No, it's true. I've learned a lot from your podcast. And even after being in business, for over 10 years. or almost 13
for
years.
you.
Yeah. Let's see. I also love Barbara Corcoran has that one. It's just real short little bits, and they're pretty good little clips of business insight. So I like that one a lot. I'd say primarily for podcasts, I do listen to business ones.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah.
What scares you the most? Snakes, payroll, or internet trolls?
Snakes.
Wren got struck at a year and a half ago or so by a rattlesnake. So,
Stop.
yeah.
By a
It was
rattlesnake?
pretty scary.
Yes.
Where at? Where were you?
Here in Colorado.
Hiking.
But like outside? Hiking?
Yeah, we were hiking on this trail that's not too far from our house. And we are scavengers. And so there was this
And I actually, found a great prop that I could use to take pictures with. So I go to pick it up, and massive rattlesnake, like inches away from me.
And he like literally struck. And I did not, I feel like I saw it, but I didn't. And I was so scared. I was like, did he get you? Did he get you? And she's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, well, you usually don't feel it right away. And it was very scary, very scary. So snakes for her. And I don't like, well, what don't I like?
Internet trolls.
Well, not necessarily the internet trolls. I don't like unhappy people emailing us. That's mine.
That's fair. That's fair. I think we're all in that same boat. I feel like I'm gonna have nightmares though about this rattlesnake. That really creeps me out. That's like my husband's greatest fear on earth.
It was so scary. And you know, where we lived in California in Napa, there's rattlesnakes everywhere. But I never
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yes, there's rattlesnakes everywhere. But you just kind of, knew. And here in Colorado, I heard one rattle once, but I'd never really seen one or anything. And so it wasn't like a big concern when I was out hiking, but now it is. And we have nightmares too.
Two last tips I want to ask from you guys. Wren, I want to start with you. I know you're big on the gram, right? So I'd love to hear, for everyone listening, what's your biggest like kind of key takeaway or piece of advice you want to share with everyone on how to maximize Instagram?
Yeah. So I actually think the best way is, like my mom said earlier, is putting yourself out there. So you can get all the likes and the followers and everything, but who cares if you aren't getting the engagement or the sales from it? So I think I've noticed a huge increase once I started the try-on sessions, because we used to do just flat lays, product pictures, and stuff would sell. But after the try-on sessions, stuff would sell out, completely sell out. The product drops at 6:01, product's gone at 6:05. And I think that is completely due to the try-on sessions and just the videos, and people get to know you and see you, and just, it feels like real life. So I would say, putting yourself out there on the gram.
And she's very consistent. I think you've got to be consistent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because actually a few people have come to me and asked, what do I do in my business? How can I do better or whatever? And the first thing I normally do is look at their Instagram, and I'm like, okay, well, you haven't made a post in a month. So consistency is key. Yeah. You will not grow if you're not posting daily. So, and I know some people schedule their posts and for a certain time of day. And, I kind of post or a certain amount a day. They'll post 5 times a day, which I'm about 1 to 2 to 3 plus stories. So I don't really think there is a good or bad time. I notice the mornings around 9 are pretty good for us. And then night at like 8, most people are pretty active. So I like to stay around those times. More people will see it, I think. So consistency and putting yourself out there would be my 2 biggest tips to maximize the gram. And that's definitely what's made us pretty profitable.
Perfect. Vanessa, I want to ask you one last tip, and that's, I know you have made a couple mentions and references to inventory management and buying, I guess, in general. I'd love to know one biggest takeaway or lesson that you would want to leave with everyone listening when it comes to being smarter with buying and managing your inventory.
I would say, yes, seasons are important, and don't buy too far out of season. And that's something actually Wren's learning, and I'm letting her learn that. So like, we'll be in LA and she'll be like, well, I really want this. And, it's yellow and it's September or October. And I'm like, okay, but I'm telling you, it's probably not going to do real well. And so we'll get it because I want her to be able to learn. And then she sees that, okay, it's super cute, but it's not quite flying like I thought it would. And so I think seasonal buying, you got to get your seasons correct. And that's obviously you're not buying in season. I mean, we do a lot of, cash and carry, but just don't buy too far out. So like actually last year, she had also bought a turtleneck and it was still freezing and she really wanted it. And it was a really cute sweater. I'm like, okay, but I'm telling you, it's a little late to buy turtlenecks, even though we're still wearing them. And guess what? It didn't sell.
Guess what though, man? Tonight's product.
yeah, but we can sell it now. But so I think that's super important. And then also, like Wren had mentioned earlier, buy what you love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And don't try to be somebody you're not.
Because if you don't love it and you don't put the love into it will not sell.
And we find that that's probably one of our issues together is obviously, we're two different age groups, but we also have a little bit of different style. And so a lot of stuff, we're both like, oh yeah, slam dunk, let's get it. But then there will be a couple things where she really likes and I don't necessarily, or I like and she doesn't. And for the most part, if she likes it, because she's pretty much head of sales, then we get it because I know she can sell it. But if I love it and she doesn't, we don't get it because I know she doesn't give the love to the product. And I am telling you, there is some sort of energy out there that if the product does not get love, it literally doesn't sell. And Dana and I discovered this, 13 years ago. We would literally have something that wasn't moving. We would say, okay, we're taking this, we're giving it some love. We're going to make it the, front of our display. Like, this is it. We're loving on this piece today. And it would sell out every time. So super, super weird, but I'm telling you, it's true.
I think that's great advice. Great advice.
Yeah. So if Wren's not going to give it love, we do not get it because I know it won't sell.
That's sad.
It is sad, but you won't give it love.
So good. Man. All right. Well, you guys have been such an awesome asset to the podcast today. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation and for representing Colorado the way that you do and 2 generations the way that you do. I just think that you guys had so much value to give. So I really appreciate that today.
Oh, yes. Well, you're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it was a blast. And thanks for all that you do in the hub because it is great information in there.
I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you so much. As we wrap up our time together, I have to ask you our one last question. That's always the way that we end the podcast because you guys know, and I think we're all on the same page, that life is about so much more than just business, right? Or I know Wren loved to be in business to make the money, honey, right?
Right.
But there's more to it than that. So I'd love to know 30 years down the road, as you guys look back at Blush Out West and what you guys created, what's the lasting impression or the greatest takeaway that you hope people remember about the lives that you both lived and the business that you ran together?
Well, for me, I like to do anything that I think is going to make my kids' lives better. And so my whole being of, a mom has been to make their lives easier and better and be the most they can be. And so my son's in the Army and he's killing it over there. And Wren, I get to watch every day be her best self. And for me, that is super, super rewarding. How about you?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
What do you want people to think about you in 30 years? I don't know,
but in 30 years, I sure hope I'm still in business. And I still hope I'm doing Instagram try-on sessions.
Okay, and this is, I know we're probably running close on time, but this is hilarious because when we go to LA, I always do all the driving.
LA freaks me out.
Yeah, and and I know my way around there now. And so she's like, okay, when we're like, she's going to be, 70 and I'm going to be 93. And she's like, don't think you're not coming with me still because you still drive.
This could be driving Miss Daisy on like a whole new level.
Totally. I'm like, well, I think our try-on sessions won't be as cute.
Well, hopefully I will have a daughter by then and she will have to take it over.
Well, and she'll be 50.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a granddaughter.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are too cute. Thank you so much. Seriously, both of you for being on the show. This is awesome. You make me want to go call my mom when I get off this podcast. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I love that.
All right. You guys have an awesome rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
I hope you guys loved having the opportunity to meet both Wren and Vanessa. I love seeing mother-daughter duos work together. They have truly built an amazing business. Guys, I get so many questions inside of my Instagram DMs every week about running your business and tools that the Boutique Hub might have to help you. And so I just wanted to mention one question that I often get is from those of you who listen to the podcast who are brand new to business. And maybe the membership isn't quite right for you, or maybe Retail Bootcamp felt a little bit too advanced for where you were at, and you were looking for a training that was for you just starting out or just finishing up that legal paperwork to start your business. We finally created a program just for you guys to answer all of those beginner questions on starting your boutique inside of year one. And I have to tell you guys, I included a lot of things inside of this training that are, I would say, industry common knowledge, but maybe things you can't learn elsewhere. Things about how to collaborate with other boutique owners, or kind of do's and don'ts that current boutique owners might look at the industry and say, gosh, I wish more people knew this when it comes to not taking other boutique owners' brands, how to really build partnerships with local boutiques near you, how to protect yourself from trademark and copyright infringement, how to navigate the ever-changing dynamics of our wholesale industry, and of course, what is the latest with inventory management, financial management, social media, mindset, and the day-to-day operations of starting and growing a successful boutique. Hey, if you would love more information on what we call Boutique Owner Basics, or Bob for short, you can check out more information and grab the link for Bob inside of this week's show notes and also over on theboutiquehub.com/courses. Enjoy your week, you guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We hope that you loved it. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a rating and review down below for a chance to be one of our featured listeners each and every week. For more information on our spirit of community over competition and how to access complete show notes and bonus downloads from our guests, head on over to theboutiquehub.com and join the community. We'll see you next week.